Guys, we are in a subscriber battle here at Chat Sports. The NFC East teams, they've been talking a little bit of smack here in the office. So I said, let's have a subscriber battle for the month of June. We're all at 0, and I want to win this because 1, I hate the Eagles. 2, I hate the Cowboys. And 3, I like to win. So if you want videos every single day on the latest Giants news and rumors, and you just hate the Cowboys and Eagles, go down right now and hit that big red sub button. Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Give me a follow over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I'm tweeting about the Giants all day, every day, and I want to follow back more Giants fans. So if you send me a DM after you give me a follow that says I know ball, I'm going to give you a follow back. We're going to talk about a Bleacher Report trade idea that has Clyde Edwards-Helaire going from the Chiefs to the Giants. We'll close the show with that, but let's start with what ESPN had to say about Justin Houston. They put out an article that highlighted the best fit with a player that is still available in NFL free agency, and they had Justin Houston as that player for the New York Football Giants. We've talked about Justin Houston before on this show because I believe the Giants need another pass rusher, and ESPN and I were on the same page. This is what they had to say about Justin Houston and a potential marriage with Big Blue. They said Houston could fit with multiple teams in search of a veteran pass rusher, but let's get him back under former Baltimore defensive coordinator Wink Martindale, who joined New York in 2022. Houston, who has 14 sacks over the past 2 seasons, played for Martindale in 2021, posting 4.5 sacks and 35 QB pressures. And we know the fit works for a Giants defense that can use him as a situational pass rusher in pressure fronts. Martindale's defense led the NFL last season with a blitz rate of 42%, which will create more one-on-ones for Houston with schemes that manipulate protection counts. And I 100% agree with what ESPN had to say right here. And we've been talking about it for weeks. We've talked about Leonard Floyd. We've talked about Justin Houston. We've talked about the Giants adding a veteran pass rusher because they need one. They need another edge rusher. Last year, the Giants posted 41 sacks, which was 13th in the National Football League, so just above middle of the pack. But the thing is, like ESPN talked about, they had the number 1 blitz rate last year in the 2022 season, which doesn't add up. The Giants blitzed more than anybody in the league, but they only had the 13th most sacks, which means the Giants have to do a better job of getting home with just 4. And when they blitz 5 or 6, they got to get home. And adding a guy like Justin Houston, who had 9.5 sacks this past year for Baltimore, had 4.5 sacks in 2021, 8 sacks in 2020, and 11 sacks in 2019 would definitely help this front 4. Not only does he stockpile sacks, he gets after the quarterback. 34 QB hits in the past 2 seasons, and he had 12 QB hits in 2020 and 18 QB hits in 2019. I think the Giants are fine at the starting edge rusher position. I love Kayvon Thibodeau. You guys know that. And I think Azeez Ojulari, when healthy, is one of the best edge rushers in the National Football League. Thing is, you don't have much depth or veteran or really pro experience or success behind those 2 guys. O'Shane Ximines, Ryder Anderson, Timon Fox, and Ellerson Smith. Neither of those guys have really proved anything in the National Football League. And not only do I think the Giants could use Justin Houston because he's a good football player, I think young guys like Kayvon Thibodeau and Azeez Ojulari could use a veteran and maybe help them have Justin Houston show them the tricks of the trade and help them become more pros and help them understand and how to take care of their body and understand how the NFL works. There's nothing like when you enter a new situation. I know Ojulari's entering his 3rd season, Kayvon Thibodeau in his 2nd, but how cool would it be to see those young guys who have limitless or unlimited potential be able to work with a guy like Justin Houston, who had 22 sacks in a season in his career before, has a strong case to be a Hall of Famer, and a guy that's been a multi-time All-Pro. I would love to have a young Kayvon Thibodeau and a young Azeez Ojulari learn from a guy like Justin Houston. Then on top of that, Justin Houston's still a good football player. He doesn't have to play every down, only has to play a little bit, be a sub package or a rotational piece. I think it would really help this New York Giants football team. So I want to ask you this question before we talk about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Do you think the Giants should sign Justin Houston? I think it would be a 1-year deal for $3 or $4 million. I don't think it would cost that much. probably have some incentives in that contract based on performance. But what do you think? Let me know. I'm curious. Type S for sign, type P for pass. I think they should do it. Let me know what you think. We're talking Clyde Edwards-Helaire around the corner. But first, I need you guys to get hooked up with our awesome sponsor of today's show, and that is Bird Dogs. Go to birddogs.com and use the promo code CHAT, and they're going to hook you guys up with a free Yeti-style tumbler. Bird Dogs has mastered the fit and the look of not only shorts but pants as well. But it's hot outside, and Bird Dogs are the shorts that I'm rocking all summer long. The fit is awesome. The look is even better. They have somehow mastered fit, comfort, and versatility. Because you can wear these to work. You can wear them when you're going out with some buddies. You can wear them on a date. You could even wear them to the beach or going to work out. Bird Dogs has really found a way to not sacrifice the look while also making sure the fit is perfect. Experience the comfort of Bird Dogs by going to birddogs.com. Make sure you use that promo code CHAT. For the shorts, you can get the 5-inch inseam, 7-inch inseam, and 9-inch inseam. So if you have a length of short that you want, Bird Dogs is the fit for you. The Bird Dogs are awesome. I got a pair right here. I'm wearing a pair right now. We're going out after work, a couple of coworkers, and I'm not going to have to go home and change because the Bird Dogs I'm rocking, they are fit for every single occasion. Get a free gift at birddogs.com when you use promo code CHAT and you make your first purchase. I promise you, you won't regret it. The fit, the look, and everything about Bird Dogs, I love it. I promise you will too. Let's talk about Clyde Edwards-Helaire because Bleacher Report proposed a trade idea for Clyde Edwards-Helaire to go from Kansas City to the New York Football Giants. And there's a couple of reasons why, although I don't agree with this, and we'll talk about this, is why Bleacher Report could at least connect the dots. Mike Kafka came over from the Kansas City Chiefs. He's now the offensive coordinator for the New York Giants. Saquon Barkley right now is in a contract dispute, hasn't signed that franchise tag. And the Giants don't really have a true second running back, even though I like Matt Breida and I like Eric Gray. So I understand why Bleacher Report said this, and this is what they had to say. They said, as of right now, New York Giants running back Saquon Barkley remains a no-show for organized team activities, although Fox Sports' Ralph Vacchiano doesn't expect him to hold out at training camp. Still, the Giants should get an insurance policy at running back. The Giants should offer the Chiefs a late-round draft pick for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He could have somewhat of a bounce-back campaign under offensive coordinator Mike Kafka, who served as Kansas City's quarterback coach and passing game coordinator between 2020 and 2021. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, after being a first-round pick and Patrick Mahomes, kind of banging on the table saying we need this guy, has honestly got worse every single season. His rookie year, 181 carries, over 800 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Then the next year, he went from 800 yards to 500 yards. Then he went from 500 yards to 300 yards. And the touchdowns and the carries continued to go down every season. He's not a scrub. He's a talented player. And I think there is a role for him potentially with the New York Giants, but I don't think it makes sense with the way the Giants running back depth chart sits right now to go ahead and trade a late round pick. You just drafted Eric Gray in the 6th round. 2 years ago, you drafted Gary Brightwell in the 5th round. And according to reports and everything coming out of Giants OTAs this year and last year, the coaching staff likes the UDFA from 2022, Ja'Shawn Corbin out of Florida State. So I'm not doing it. I am not trading for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't think it's worth the squeeze. I don't think the Giants need to give up a future draft asset to get a 2nd or 3rd running back on this squad after you just drafted one in the 6th round. And a lot of people think Eric Gray is going to be a good back. And I don't know what his ceiling is in the NFL, but I want to see what he's got. I want to see what Eric Gray could bring to the New York Giants. It's actually funny because a lot of people that I have talked to that have watched Eric Gray at Tennessee and Oklahoma and so far with the Giants this summer, they compare him to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I don't think there's a need to go out and trade more draft capital for a running back when in the last 2 years, you've used a 6th, or last 3 years, you've used a 6th and a 5th round pick on that position. And Eric Gray, I think, could be a great player, and that's what he was for the Oklahoma Sooners. The dude can do it all. He had 21 carries of 15-plus yards. While he doesn't have that breakaway speed, he's a big play runner. And he is just shifty in the open field. 58 forced missed tackles, average 6.4 yards per touch, 11 total touchdowns. He's a receiving threat out of the backfield as well. 33 receptions for 229 yards. He had 213 carries for almost 1,400 yards. Well, I don't know if he can ever be an RB1. I believe he could be a supplemental piece, and I'd like to see the lion's share of the carries for the New York Giants go between Saquon and Eric Gray. So for me, I'm typing my N for no. I don't think the Giants should go out and trade for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I understand the thought process. I'm not saying it's a dumb trade idea. Just for me, I would say no. But this is your chance to sound off and let me know what you think. Do you think Big Blue should trade for CEH? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know what you're thinking down in the comment section. As always, I want to say thank you, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in to Giants Now by Chat Sports. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. We'll see you later.